Here we've got a System 6 driver board that came in, and this was a treat because the customer had also sent in the MPU, which I had done back in 06 of 2023. So what is that, June? And so what I did here to the MPU was we did have a a coin cell battery installed here on the board, which I cannot send those back in the mail. What I've been doing with all my rehabs now is actually installing NVRAM here onto the board to eliminate any need there for batteries. The lithium ions are rare to leak, but it is not impossible. And actually, with the lithium batteries, they will actually leak worse than alkaline batteries if they do. So I went ahead and redid that, or I'm sorry, just added NVRAM here to the board. The driver board here, excuse me, we had a broken leg here on the switch PIA, but also it was obviously making enough connection. But the biggest deal that we had was just underneath all four of these sockets, which had been pulled and replaced at some point, is there was quite a bit of I want to say oxidation, and I'm not sure what kind of solder was used there with the repair or whatever else, but man, oh my god, that stuff, whenever you burnt it, it stunk worse than any solder I'd ever smelt before. But anyways, I went ahead and pulled all four of these sockets here and sanded down the pads to clear out that oxidation, as well as with the PIA, which I've installed a new PIA here on the board, and just re-socketed all four of these chips, so two 4049s and then two 7406s. Replace the jumpers here in the switch section as well. This one here has a pulled pad, which I have actually just ran that lead over to the pad itself, as well as I've added a blinking indicator here to the board, so we've got a blinking LED, and replaced all 0.156 headers here on the board. So Williams used round pin headers, which are just terrible for making a connection there with the square pin. Trifurcon, God, I can't even think of the names of these, but for the mating with the connectors, it's not a good idea to use round pin headers. Square pin's going to give you a lot better of a connection there. And I have also replaced, what is this, Q45, which is solenoid 16, which controls the coin lockout. That thing was just constantly on the whole entire time. It's the only solenoid that I found in the entire section here that was locked on, or any sort of anomalies to it. Replace the 100 UF input filter capacitor as well. And I believe that's everything here on the board, so let's go ahead and get this thing powered up. And so since I have NVRAM here on the board, it'll save all of these settings there. And we've got the lamp matrix dancing, and over here you can see that none of the coils are locked on, as they shouldn't be. And go ahead and cycle into test, and first test is going to be displays, so just cycling 0 through 9, which is all working correctly. And into lamp test, so all lamps are working properly. And into solenoids, so we've got the two blue LEDs that click on, and that's the flipper enable relay, which you see that little cube relay there on the board. And into the special solenoids here, which are indicated by the yellow LEDs. And these are also switch controlled, which are going to be like your pop bumpers and slingshots, stuff like that there. And moving into the last test here on the game, is going to be switch test. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to move through the first, what is this, the first column, and just showing that all switches are reporting accurately and not causing any bizarre issues, which it was the strangest one that I saw. So like, for instance, I would click on switch 5, and what that would read back to me was switch 5, and then it would go switch 6, switch 7, and then stop. And then if I did, you know, switch 6, it would go switch 5, switch 6, and then stop. It was just, typically whenever you see a switch issue that's border related, you're going to see an entire row or an entire column that's either not working, or all of them are working whenever they're not supposed to be working, if that makes any sense. So basically, if you hit row 1, it's going to, you know, read out the whole entirety of row 1. As to where this switch issue here on this board was only reading off a couple of switches, which is just very bizarre. But like I said, those sockets had quite a bit of oxidation or whatnot going on underneath them. Again, I'm not sure if it was just the solder that was used on there or what, but I'd never seen anything like it. But I'll do it again. I just went through the switch matrix diagonally here. So we're testing just both rows and columns. And the last switch that reports there in Gorgar is switch 44. So this board is 100% good to go. And I also swapped out that one resistor that was swapped out for a different value there. Now, these Williams boards, man, these things are essentially tanks. I mean, I would not swap these originals out for anything else on the market unless my board is just, by God, just covered in alkaline to where it's, you know, just too much work to get it back up and going. But the great thing is there are so many games made with these sets that you can find these originals out there. And again, these things are tanks. I mean, my God, I would put these up against any aftermarket board on the market every single time. You know, as far as having this board in a game versus an aftermarket, you know, a small little issue happens on your play field and something shorts out or a coil locks on, I guarantee this thing is going to hold up so much better than any of those aftermarket boards are. And if you know, just basic soldering skills, you know, a coil locks on, you've got through-hole transistors over here that you can just easily desolder from the board and pop a new one in there. But again, this thing is good to go and should last you for some years now. So thank you so much.